Today it's time for some monster torque. Hey everyone, Rich here from the RCNetwork.com, and today it's time to take a look at a new servo that just hit the market. Now this is from AGFRC. This is their Monster Torque 12-volt smart servo. Now, just in the past few years, servos have come a long way, giving us faster and faster response times and more torque, all different bells and whistles on the servos and making them practically indestructible. Now, if you haven't already heard of AGFRC, they're based overseas and they're basically a manufacturer for a lot of different people for servos. There's not too many servo manufacturers out there, but AGFRC is one of them. Now in this video, we'll not only be unboxing it, we'll be installing it into one of my TRX-4s and also getting it out of the rocks and see how it performs. But first, a quick trip around the box. As far as the specs on this servo, they are quite impressive. Now the operating voltage is between 10 volts to 13 volts, and we'll get a little bit more into that during the install. That basically means you can directly attach this to a 3S LiPo. No BEC or anything else is necessary. It does have a waterproof level of IP67. The transit times vary from 0.14 seconds at 11.1 volts all the way up to 0.12 seconds at 12.6 volts. The static hold torque goes all the way from 667 ounce-inches of torque at 11.1 volts up to 834 ounce-inches at 12.6 volts. This is a large servo measuring in at 40 by 20 by 41.5 millimeters, so definitely check that against your 1/10 or 1/8 scale vehicles. It does have a brushless motor and it weighs in at 88.5 grams. Coming in a non-traditional servo box, this thing is quite easy to open. Simply take off the top. Inside the box, you'll receive a plastic bag full of all the necessary hardware to mount your servo and a couple of plastic servo horns, an included aluminum clamping servo horn, a power adapter to get that direct 12-volt power, and finally the 12-volt smart servo. At first glance here in studio, this thing looks amazing. Has all CNC'd machined aluminum throughout. So the bottom of the servo, the center, the top cap, the ears, this thing is entirely made from aluminum. So you talk about durability, this one has it. Moving on to the side right here, we do have the Smart Servo logo. It does have an optional programming card that you can hook straight up to your laptop to do certain programmability features of this servo. You do have the badging, the SA86BVMW is the model number, 12 volt, and of course the AGFRC logo. Moving it up to the top right here, this is a standard 25-2 splined horn mount. Flipping it to the bottom right here, we do have some more badging, and of course we do have two wires coming out of here, two separate ones. One is going to be your receiver, and one is going to be the power. More on that a little bit later. I was looking at the two leads right here. We do have a regular receiver plug and then a JST plug for that power. Well, without further ado, let's get this thing installed in my TRX-4. Now, the 12-volt servos are so great for platforms like the TRX-4 or the Axial SEX-10III because you're running so many different servos in these vehicles. The TRX-4 has 3 micro servos that need to run on like 6 volts, and that can be directed straight from the ESC and also the receiver. Now, the 12-volt servo actually can be powered directly off your 3S LiPo, which will give it constant power. There'll be no need for BECs or other complicated wiring. You just pretty much plug and play this servo and you're ready to rock. Now I've already pulled out the chassis mounted stock servo and now it's time to drop in the new AGF. I'm simply going to route the wires the way I intend them to route behind this little mount right here. And then simply just drop it into the mount. Now simply mount the 4 servo mounting screws. Flip the car over now and mount the servo horn and all of the steering linkage. Now you just have to make 2 connections. The black one will go up to channel 1 on your receiver, and the red one will make a connection directly to the battery. last connection that we need to make is with this adapter that's actually included in the box. Now this goes from a male JST plug to a female balance plug. Now remember, coming off of the servo is two wires, the red one being the female JST plug that just simply gets plugged straight into this guy right there. And now this can go up to your balance adapter on your 3S LiPo. Plugging in the battery, I went ahead and plugged in my XT60 connector directly up to my ESC from my LiPo right there, my 3S LiPo, and then simply plugging this plug into the balance adapter. Now you have power to that 12-volt servo, no BECs required. Alright, so let's go ahead and fire this thing up and see how it operates. Alright, so obviously I do need to go ahead and set my endpoints on the actual radio. Just a simple programming feature on the radio that can set my endpoints right there and I'll be set to run.